Hisuian Goodra is making its way to the Paldea region at a snail's pace. When it finally arrives in time for the release of Pokemon Home, what effect will it have on the Generation 9 competitive singles metagame? This has been a heavily requested Pokemon that many players are eager to try out. So let's take a look and find out if Goodra is as good as its name suggests. I've made videos already about some of the other Hisui Pokemon, such as Lilligant, Basculegion, and Cleavor. Check those out if you're interested, and I'd appreciate it if you liked the video and subscribed to the channel for more informative content about the upcoming Hisui Pokemon and more. The original Goodra may look like a really strong Pokemon at a glance, but it's never been ranked in OU, despite its fantastic stats and offensive move pool, and the powerful ability Gooey. It is overshadowed by other special walls who have more utility or are typing better suited to handle the common threats of the metagame. Being a mono dragon isn't a great fit on a special wall with its unfortunate weaknesses to dragon, fairy, and ice. Hisuian Goodra's new typing looks like it might fix this problem. This steel dragon type combination now makes Hisuian Goodra neutral to dragon, fairy, and ice instead of being weak to them. It has gained weaknesses to fighting and ground, which are less common types for special attackers. If they are used, they're usually coverage options that aren't stab boosted, and Hisuian Goodra has the sheer bulk to shrug them off pretty nicely, especially if it's using an assault vest. This type combination is a much better fit for a special wall, much like the original Goodra. Hisuian Goodra lacks the common utility options typical of defensive Pokemon, such as healing moves, hazards, or status moves. But it makes up for this with a wide variety of special attacking options and a solid special attack stat. Draco Meteor is an obvious choice with its massive base power and the ability to threaten dragon types, as well as deal huge stab boosted neutral damage to many targets. Flash Cannon is a great steel stab option that complements Draco Meteor very well. If the enemy tries to go to a fairy type to block an incoming dragon move, Flash Cannon punishes them with some huge super effective stab damage. Flamethrower or Fire Blast allow you to threaten steel types trying to resist your stab attacks. Your physical attack isn't too bad either, so options like Earthquake and Heavy Slam could be useful as well. Dragon Tail is a solid utility option that forces the enemy to switch, and since it is an attack, it's usable on Assault Vest sets as well. Hisuian Goodra's signature move Shelter is pretty underwhelming. It's just a simple 2-stage defense boost, similar to Iron Defense or Acid Armor. It's actually worse than Acid Armor, which Hisuian Goodra also has, since Shelter has lower PP. Acid Armor looks like a pretty good option though. Hisuian Goodra has an increase in defense compared to the original Goodra, and it has access to Body Press to take advantage of that. Boosting your defense and terastallizing into a strong defensive type like Flying or Fairy to patch up your weaknesses to Ground and Steel would make Hisuian Goodra almost unkillable and a potential win condition with Body Press. Hisuian Goodra's solid special attack and fantastic offensive move pool would make it a good bulky attacker as well if you want to go in that direction. Invest in special attack and run a choice specs, maybe even with Trick Room support. That natural bulk will be more than adequate to make your way in and start threatening everything with your great stab and coverage options. As far as abilities go, Gooey is probably the go-to choice most of the time. Sap Sipper is a powerful ability, but Hisuian Goodra already has a ×4 resistance to grass, and immunity to grass and the attack bonus that comes from taking grass hits is just not necessary on this Pokemon. Immunity to grass status moves like Spore and Leech Seed could be useful on some teams however, and Sap Sipper is worth considering for that reason. Shell Armor providing immunity to crits is usually not that relevant, but it could be a good option on the Acid Armor sets. Critical hits ignore the enemy's defensive boosts, and fishing for crits can be a good strategy against passive Pokemon that boost their defense repeatedly. Shell Armor will make this set even more difficult to break through, but on the majority of Hisuian Goodra sets, Gooey will provide the most value. Lowering the speed of any Pokemon that makes contact is a strong effect that can support teammates by crippling a fast threat and allowing something else on your team, or Goodra itself, to now outrun it. This ability expands the utility of Hisuian Goodra even further, and gives you one extra reason to use it. The only exception would be on a Trick Room team, where lowering the enemy's speed may not be something you want. You also might not want to give Defiant users a way to boost their attack. That could be a problem. Overall, Hisuian Goodra looks extremely solid. They've taken the original Goodra and given it exactly what it needed to thrive in the role of an offensive special wall. This will be a welcome addition to Generation 9 and a great option to handle some of these powerful new special attackers. I'm pretty confident this Pokemon will be a viable choice in Generation 9 OU. But what do you think? Will the snail from Maple Story really be as powerful as it looks? What Hisuian Pokemon are you looking forward to using once Pokemon Home releases? And what would you like me to talk about next? Let me know down below in the comments, and thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel for more Gen 9 gameplay, discussion, and informative content. Thank you to the patrons. If you'd like to see a team that you built feature in one of my videos, or request a video topic for me to cover, take a look at my Patreon link in the description for more information.
The money got different, 'cause of what I'm spending. The money got different,
Oh, it's
'cause of what
Megaphone!
I'm spending.
Whoa!
The money
KO
got
by
different,
one hit! It
'cause
scattered
of what I'm
spikes!
spending. The money got different, 'cause of what I'm spending.